Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday. How is everyone doing? I hope you're having a wonderful week. We're in it for more conspiracy bullshit today, so it's going to be a fun one. Hope you're doing well. Sorry I took so long. I started the stream before I put my makeup on, so it took me longer than usual. Apologies. So let's see. Ooh, I gotta change the white balance. This is making me look so fucking washed out. I look like the Crypt Keeper. No, the Crypt Keeper had dark toned skin. I look like a Victorian hatter who's been exposed to too much mercury. I'll fix that after I read some of these bit messages. 64% to level 3. What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? Make sure you get your bingo cards ready. We are playing Tinfoil Tuesday bingo today. Rageology with 100 bits says, Tinfoil! Tinfoil time, indeedly do. Broha, thanks for gifting a sub. I appreciate that. Steve with a Q with 100 bits says, Intro Train. Gnome Pickles, thanks for continuing your gift sub. Neemsor Kolboth, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 sub. Look, Gnome Pickles, thanks for gifting a sub. Bumble Homestead with 200 bits. Overthought says, Freemasons, damn socialists want everything handed to them, even their masons. Probably a Lannister says, bits to celebrate a raise I wasn't expecting. Oh, right on. MW1642, thanks for 200 bits. Navigator 4, thanks for 11 months, and that catches us up. We're at 88% to level 3. Now let me try and fix the camera real quick so I'm a little less washed out. Bardlock Moses, thank you very much for 100 bits. Where is my video capture device? There it is. Configure video. Brightness down, maybe? Slightly? Nah. Gain. Oh, that's worse. That's worse! Bardlock Moses, thanks for another 200 bits, getting us over level 3. Let me un-auto the white balance and, like, fudge with it. No. Moira Soma, thank you for 500 bits. 24% to... 24% to level 4. Sorry, I'm screwing with the camera. I don't know if you guys can see the differences as I do it. That's saturation? No? What if I'm just super contrasty? This is just a stylistic choice. Whoa! It's a bloom effect, guys! This is totally what I'm going for. Oh, let's turn that back down. That's one. Okay, that's two. Or I could just do this. Just mysterious. I'm always cloaked in a fog. 24% to level 4. We'll fix this. We'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry about it. Purple Nickel with 100 bits says, Bean the Kitten says hello, and so do I. Well, hello, how you doing? Or am I in Silent Hill? Maybe if I just do this. Will this help? That did help. I should have just done that. Jesus Christ, I didn't even need to... I just needed to turn the ring light off. I guess I can still adjust it since I'm in here anyway. It's too sharp. What if I just smooth it all out? Sharpness all the way down. Let's just smudge effect over all those imperfections. Great. That'll do, at least for now. Much better. Rageology with 100 bits says, Hannah, the other day, I assume everyone heard about the Will Smith Oscar slap. Me watching the VOD after a few days taking a break from the internet. No? Loving that the stream is sometimes my breaking news channel, and I really hope this is where I learned the apocalypse has started. If the apocalypse started, I don't know if I'd be on the internet, but it would be an interesting stream. I could break all the TOSs. The world was going to end. I don't think the admins of Twitch were paying attention at all if the world's about to end. That is, of course, unless I say the C word, in which case, even if a meteor is imminently bearing down upon the Twitch headquarters, they'll ban me. Very worth it. Halloween Town with a link. 33% to level 4 with a minute and a half. And of course, we can't let it stand at 33, as we all know that is a Freemason number. This person says, I'm just learning that Chris Rock said, Denzel, I loved you in Macbeth on stage moments before he was slapped by Will Smith. And apparently, there's a centuries-old curse placed by witches on Macbeth where people who say the name in public always invite disaster. I thought that was only if you were putting on a production of the play. Like, I can say Macbeth, and I'm fine. Macbeth, 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 right? The idea, I thought, was that if you're putting on a production of Macbeth, you have to say the Scottish play, so you don't say Macbeth. Tea with Goblins, thanks for 14 months, says, 14 months of tinfoil tomfoolery. Thank you for making my mornings more interesting. The last year and a bit, I am currently in ICO with COVID, so it's nice to see the gay little people that live in my phone. I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing okay as far as, you know, everything is considered, but, I hope you're on the mend. 59% to level 4 with only 30 seconds left. Don't let the train die. Don't disappoint me, chat. I'll be just like all your parents who are very disappointed in you, and I don't want to have to make you relive your trauma by being disappointed in you. Nick with 25 bits says, pretend I just linked the Simpsons clip with Homer and Bart say Macbeth. Rageology with 100 bits. Uh-oh. 10 seconds left. I think this train's gonna die. And we're all going to be disappointed. Tea with Goblins with 100 bits. The train died on Tinfoil Tuesday? What are we even doing? Thanks, everyone. Oh, no! Mr. Blast, don't do that. I gotta give you that money back now. Mr. Blast gives 5 tier 1 subs, but it was just a little too late. Shit, now I gotta give you that money back. But god damn it. Thank you, though. Anyway, I'll do some of the tinfoil stuff since we did do up to level 3. Let's see. Where are the horns? The horns will definitely be part of it. One, two. Morbius is a Sony movie that they have the rights to because they bought the rights to Spider-Man's movie stuff in, like, the 90s. It's not like an MCU movie. Like, Marvel had no hand in producing it. It just has the Marvel name attached to it, even though it's dog shit. One, two, what's the third thing gonna be? You get one glove. You get one glove for 3 levels of the hype train. Is it just White Blade? He's a vampire. I don't know. I haven't seen Blade, so I can't speak to whether or not it's like Blade. But Morbius is a vampire. Tea with Goblin says, I have a relatively mild case and I'm triple jabbed, but still I'm tired all the time and have coughed up things that would make Lovecraft shiver. Get vaccinated, kids. Probably Lannister with 100 bits says, I saw a ton of movies between December, February, and my god, did they try to make Morbius happen. I know, right? How have I not seen the 90s classic Blade? I own it if it makes you feel better. I just haven't watched it yet. I own it on 4K. I just haven't seen it. Daima Oni-chan says, a little late, too, because Twitch wouldn't let me in the darn chat for some reason. Have them anywho. Well, thank you. Morak says, I remember the Morbius arc from the 90s Spider-Man show. It was wild trying to do vampires without referencing blood. How did they do that? I don't remember. You don't need to show this on stream, but I found this horrifying as a thing to add to my D&D campaign. Well, I'm going to show it anyway. What is it? Okay, so it's like a guy whose bottom half is like a dragon monster. Nice. That was pretty good. Tube Man says, I honestly can't wait until we get the Spot movie or the Big Wheel movie. True. He sucked plasma with his hands. Okay, that's an okay way to do it, I guess. If you can't show blood. Anyway, make sure you get your bingo cards ready. Yeah. And that's it. Let's get going. This is just a quick thing we'll do first. This is a montage of basically people claiming things are demonic that aren't demonic. So let's take a look.
Is there anything occultic or dangerous about Smurfs?
Well, there are some things about Smurfs that we need to look at. First of all, you'll notice that they're depicted as blue with black lips.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you know what happens to you when you die? You turn blue and your lips turn black.
I think that's not the intention of the Smurfs. The Smurfs are just magical little elf creatures that live in the forest and try and not get eaten by Gargamel. Joey is strong, thanks for 10 months. Tomb Man says, some mother effer always trying to ice skate uphill.
In other words, these are depictive of dead creatures.
No, they're not. They are explicitly not that. They're tiny, magical, elf-like, gnome-like creatures that live in the forest in mushrooms and replace various words with Smurf.
Right. And another thing is that Smurfs is an all-male community. And you say, oh, there's Smurf.
No, there's Smurfette.
Smurfette, she's a female. Well, in one cartoon, she was depicted as transforming from a male to a female through magical power. And so the only female in the Smurfs is transformed from a male.
I thought Gargamel made Smurfette in order to sow discord within the Smurf community, and then she became one of the Smurfs and turned good. I don't remember, though, but I remember more about the Smurfs than I should, considering I've never seen it.
Male. She was not born a female.
No, what you're telling me then is that even Smurfs carry a homosexual connotation in
Smurf, yeah.
that most of them are male.
I believe so.
But we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are leading that direction.
We're looking at Yoda right now, and Yoda was called the Zen Master. Of course, this was based on Zen Buddhism. He's a three-fingered, three-toed beast. So he has the 2 fingers and the thumb, which from my information means Satan is Lord.
What information, sir? Where are you getting your information from?
T.
Is this guy Milo's dad? He reminds me of Milo, but like doing a better job of pretending to be straight.
The extraterrestrial. What can we say about him?
Yes, it was a camouflage occult movie, including levitation, psychic healing, mind control, mental telepathy, that type of thing. E.T. also
Are you about to poop, Oliver?
included some inferences to homosexuality within the movie.
Homosexuality.
Yes.
Here's a
Wait, why does he think... These people freak me out that they see, like... sexual stuff where it does not exist, or they see homosexuality or, like, pedophilia where it absolutely does not exist. What are these people's brains like that they look at E.T. and see it as anything other than, like, a cute Steven Spielberg movie about a kid fighting an alien? Like, that's all that movie is about.
the Rainbow Bright cereal box. And, I mean, what are you saying about Rainbow Bright?
Again, it's a humanistic emblems and humanistic value system.
Well, the rainbow represents the networking of the New Age.
Right.
And it's interesting that she has a little...
That's funny, because most Christians I talk to says the rainbow represents God's love and to never allow him to flood the world again.
Five-sided star on her cheek. I don't know if you can see that on the box, but there's a little...
This is not a bit, no. This is a pretty famous video that I'd like to watch in total at some point. It's like over an hour long. Yeah, spurious symbology is evidence, for sure, on the bingo card. Satanism on the bingo card. This is something called, like, Seduction. No, Seduction of the Innocent, I think, was the comic book treatise written by some asshole. This is something similar, though. It was a VHS that's kind of a cult favorite nowadays. Came out in the 80s. I know they talk about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and stuff, too, in that. Nick says, this should be called Spurious Symbology, the motion picture. Deception of a Generation? That might be correct.
five-sided star, and it's...
Now are you pooping?
upside down, which I'm not going to say it's used in this depiction, but that's a pentagram again.
Yeah.
Looks like he tried to poop but couldn't. I'm sorry I'm giving you a heads up on what my cat is doing, but he's being very odd. Looked like he tried to poop, but nothing came out.
And that's another New Age and occultic symbol, so we have to be careful even with...
He looks confused. He's still trying to bury it, but he didn't poop. Is he constipated? Are you constipated, Oliver?
Rainbow Bright, you parents that are watching today, it is your
I'll keep you updated on the poop situation.
responsibility. If you allow your children to watch these cartoons...
KBS666, thanks for 13 months, says 13 months. So much tinfoil. Not enough.
If you allow them to bring these comic books into the house, if you allow them to have these toys or you buy them for them, you're going to be held responsible before God. God says not to bring an accursed thing into your house, lest you should be accursed as it is. These things are occultic, they're accursed. They teach the children to get into spells, into witchcraft, and to serve demon powers.
Reasons on rock and roll music and why I preach against it, and I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today. I 100% believe it. Why I believe that is because I know how it feels when you sing it. I know what it does to you. And I know the evil.
What's the modern day equivalent of this? Like, what are chuds saying now is bad for kids? Like, teaching them about that gay people exist? I guess, but that's not like hip-hop. But I don't see that as much. I guess I don't look for it, though. I feel like hip-hop and rap was more like a thing in the 90s and early 2000s that these kind of people would get mad about. Anti-Pretzel says, to the Christians, everything that isn't them is evil, demonic, satanic, unholy, welcoming evil spirits, etc., etc., etc. Well, Mama said that everything is of the devil, so...
Feeling that you feel when you sing it. I know the lost position that you get into in the beat. Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about rock and roll music that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat, the beat, the beat.
You know, there's something about when you go to a concert
Oh god, what's this link? Someone check the Daddy Sume link and make sure it's fine.
of death metal, somebody
Oh, he's doing it. Okay, that's a good example.
might get killed.
Is this guy's name Greg Locke? Or am I thinking of a... No, that's the other crazy pastor, right? Or is this him? No. I'm getting them confused. There's a couple really crazy on the internet pastors. Steven Anderson, thank you. This is Steven Anderson. Seems fine. Okay. Have I seen Rocket's Your Decision? No. We'll have to watch it sometime. I assume it's like an anti-rock and roll thing. Probably... We haven't done, Public Domania in a while. Maybe we'll have to do that soon.
Around here. Listen, I know how tempting it is to appeal to the real lowest form of humanity.
Who just followed? Necro Tull, thanks for
In the
following.
United States, the bottom feeders, people who pride themselves on hatred and uneducation and inability to read and inability to understand the difference between true patriotism and the bullshit you're selling. I know how tempting it is to play to those people because at least you have a base. But Jesus Christ, Ted, for somebody with a really, really small dick, you get to be a bigger prick every fucking day. Go fuck yourself.
That's good shit. Was he
Okay.
saying it in response to anything specific? No, just Ted Cruz in general. Based Hellboy. Stone Corbell says, I remember reading some literature of the time where rock was the big hot button issue, where they claimed that rock musicians consulted druids and integrated their magical beats into rock music to hypnotize and control people's minds. Oh shit, they're bards? Rad. MW1642, thanks for gifting us up.
Killed. You know, you're worshiping death. And then all of a sudden people start dying. Oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, you love death so much that you bought the ticket? Yeah. You love worshiping Satan? Well, let's have some of Satan's religion come in and shoot you. I mean, that's what these people should think about before they go to such a wicked concert.
It looks all real cute and fun, but why do you have to portray such a negative influence for the youth, for my kids? I don't, you know, in the world. You should be.
Tell a Teletubbies are a PBS hit.
Oh shit, do you remember when they thought Teletubbies was satanic and they thought Tinky Winky was gay?
The toddler set. But the Reverend Jerry Falwell has launched a warning in the latest issue of his National Liberty Journal, telling parents Tinky Winky is gay.
Parents, be very careful what your children are watching. They watch 20 to 35 hours of television weekly. Be sure that
Someone's been swigging back a little too much tubby custard, if you know what I mean.
subtle and bad images are not being planted in their minds.
Tinky Winky is a boy, but Falwell's magazine says the fact he carries a purse suggests he's homosexual. Falwell's journal also points out Tinky Winky's purple.
That's not even like a stereotypical gay guy thing. What? That's such a weird...
And sports an inverted triangle on his head, both symbols of gay pride.
Let me say something about Harry Potter. Warlocks are enemies of God. And I don't care what kind of hero they...
The purple triangle is gay. I thought the upside-down pink triangle was gay because it was a symbol that had been taken back by the gay community after homosexual people in the Holocaust were labeled with upside-down pink triangles. It had been like a reclaimed symbol. Maps and Mimic says, "Oh, rad, my sister goes to Falwell's Liberty University. I'm sorry."
They are. They're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament, Harry Potter would have been put to death.
God, Jesus Camp is such a wild movie. Check it out if you haven't. It's great.
St. Edward.
Remember, the kids from Jesus Camp are probably of voting age now. Just letting you know.
Catholic school in Nashville is facing backlash after the school's pastor pulled the Harry Potter series from the library. In an email to parents, Father Dan Rehill explained that the series glorify acts of conjuring the dead and evil spirits.
Kippy says, "Did you hear about the new Harry Potter game's plot? Because yeehaw, holy shit, anti-Semitism and slavery, Batman." No, I saw gameplay footage and it looks fun. I didn't see anything about the story. But honestly, the story is the least important part to me. I kind of like the world of Harry Potter and the whole, like, magical boarding school setting. The plot itself isn't a big deal to me. But let me know. If you can summarize it briefly, it'd be pretty funny.
A group of rabbis and priests held demonstrations over this past weekend, and they were demonstrating against a movie called The Life of Brian.
Protesters around the world marched against The Life of Brian. It was dropped by financiers.
It's about goblins rebelling and kidnapping children. Yikes. Morak says, "I went to Liberty University for a high school event. Who would go there willingly? The dorms have concrete floors and no heating or air conditioning." Ugh.
Banned by councils, states, even entire countries.
That's funny, because if I remember correctly, The Life of Brian actually has, like, one depiction of Jesus. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And it's actually, like, really respectful. The actual depiction of Jesus.
But it still managed to get shown, and still managed to offend
I get it, though. It certainly makes fun of religion. That's the point. It's a satire.
seemingly every world religion.
What happened to sticks and stone can break my bone, but words can never hurt me.
Councillor Hitchin, why have you banned The Life of Brian?
Because from what we've heard about it, we think that it's going to be an extremely offensive film on religious grounds.
Now, you've not actually seen the film,
No,
have you?
we haven't.
What reports have you had of it? Where have those reports come from?
The reports have come from the Festival of Light.
What do you know about the Festival of Light yourself?
Nothing.
Dungeons and... Genius! Maps and Mimic says, "My sister, who was particularly religious growing up and then overcorrected." Oof.
Dragons is a real serious problem. I began to look through the instruction manual, and I see here how to cast magical spells, and mage spells, and cleric...
Yeah, it's a fantasy game. The one he's showing is a spell to reduce the armor class, which is a sweet spell. It's a game. You're not learning how to really cast magic. They're tools in your toolbox to do combat in a game. It's a fantasy game. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
Cleric spells. And you go to the pages that it's listed on, in this instance, page 41, and they have complete descriptions of how to cast spells and how to contact powerful spirits and how...
No, they don't. They'll have some flavor text and, like, the old school D&D, I don't I think like AD&D didn't necessarily use spellcasting focuses. I think you had to do the component casting. So the way older school D&D works, and you can still do component casting, and there are still spells that require components, but many of the spells now just require a spellcasting focus, like a wand or something. But component casting is basically if you want to cast a specific spell, you need an item to cast that spell. So like a spell to mend something. Maybe you need a small piece of string and then an incantation or whatever. The flavoring of the spell is just to explain why do you need a string to cast this spell. I don't know. It's just flavor to color the world because it's a fantasy role-playing game. You're playing a role of a wizard or whatever. Random Invite says, are you telling me I can't actually cast Minor Illusion and Mold Earth now that I'm a level 3 rogue? I know, it's sad, because I was a level 9 wizard, and if I could power word kill, just saying, Death Note would be happening. In Minecraft, in D&D.
How to use these spirits and these powers to overcome, obviously, evil or good. Here it says, it is important to remember that the source of all magic is the life force of the user. This is the teaching of
the source of all magic, excuse me, is the intricate, it's basically manipulating the weave.
Cult. This is exactly what we...
Yeah, this can be science fiction as fact on the bingo card.
We're introduced into in Star Wars and E.T. that there is some magical power, some life force that runs throughout the universe.
You have eyewitnesses. For instance, one case, the parents saw their child summon Dungeons and Dragons demons into his room before he killed himself. Boy.
Demons aren't real. Tea with Goblin says, are they sure it wasn't a devil? People usually make that mistake. Is it a demon or a devil? Was a pact being made or was punishment being doled out? Tea with Goblin says, with barely contained tears, but I have God and anime on my side. Nick says, pretend it's 2012. Of course they have trouble distinguishing fact from fiction. They're fundamentalist Christians. Wow, that was 2012, wasn't it?
Boycott Disney? We have good reason to do so. And I have good reason to ask you to join us. Millions of other people have joined us. This is a boycott with a just cause.
A just cause.
At least one kid from Jesus Cap came out okay. I know one of them contacted us. I think it was this kid, actually, that contacted us. The one in the picture up here. Jake and I, after we did that review, seemed like he was doing okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different kid, though, but I thought it was him.
The Disney boycott. Their anti-family actions have spoken louder than its corporate image and cartoon logos.
And they've done such a great job. Disney is only the largest media empire in the history of the world now. That boycott, nailed it.
Those
Thrash Mio says it's cancel culture when it's about race and LGBT rights, but it's morals when it's banning Satan.
actions are causing more...
What did he say? He basically just said it was interesting and thanks for covering it and stuff. I believe he commented on the video if you wanted to go look at it, but I don't know how hard it would be to find.
More and more groups to say enough is enough.
The Assemblies of God announced today they were boycotting the Walt Disney Company.
Disney extended insurance benefits to the live-in partners of homosexual employees.
The horror.
Disney-owned ABC led the TV networks in the number of prime-time gay characters. Homosexuality, violence, anti-Christian themes, profanity, obscenity.
What they're wanting us to do is to simply look at tolerance as the supreme ethic of this generation.
Disney.
Oh no, not tolerance!
And is pushing the homosexual lifestyle.
Let's review some of those Disney classics. The story of Snow White includes witches, magic mirrors, sorcery, and spells.
I don't know if you know this, but the witch in that movie is the villain. So Disney is saying that magic is bad.
Cinderella, even in the opening scene, they tell you that it's an enchanting story about magic. The Bible is clear. No enchanter, no magic. In The Little Mermaid, there's witches, there's spells. In the story of Pocahontas, she consults a familiar tree spirit to guide her. Jasmine.
That's problematic for different reasons.
is supposed to marry the prince, but instead she falls in love with the thief. This also contains magic and sorcery. Mulan's best friend is a little red dragon who lies to her and speaks to the dead, which is necromancing. The Prince and the Frog is all about voodoo. And of course, Mickey is the sorcerer himself.
Oh my god, The Sorcerer's Apprentice came out like in the 30s. Are you not over that yet? Mickey is a sorcerer in a handful of... In The Sorcerer's Apprentice, most famously, and I don't even know this to be the case, but it wouldn't surprise me if some other shorts have shown him as that, as a reference to this. But, like, Mickey is not typically shown as a sorcerer. That was a bit in one thing in Fantasia. Nick says, quote, "This also contains non-white people," end quote. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, just got in. Is this some 2000s fundamentalist malarkey? 80s through 2000s, yeah.
And let's talk about Frozen.
And Phantasmic. In the Disney live show, Phantasmic, he is also a sorcerer. But I don't even know if they do Phantasmic anymore.
Elsa decides to build her own ice castle. She sings that song, Let It Go. And the lyrics say, "No right, no wrong, no rules for me, I'm free."
The entire point of that song, if you watch the movie, is that she's felt constrained her entire life by her parents who told her to hide her magical abilities, and now that it's out of the bag, she decides, hey, maybe it isn't wrong for me to explore these abilities and use them to my benefit. Maybe I can go ahead and build this giant ice castle and be away from people. Something Hans Christian Andersen. And that's what it's about. It's not about all morals being wrong. TubeMan says, actually, Hannah, Mickey Mouse is one of the most powerful Keyblade wielders specializing in magic. Kingdom Hearts is not canon. Nor is Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3. Kingdom Hearts 365 over, God, what is it? Shit, I ruined the joke. I don't know Kingdom Hearts jokes.
Is a most dangerous philosophy to plant into children's minds. You see, the 10 Commandments are our only guide for right and wrong. The Bible is very clear. We are to have nothing to do with these things, period. In fact, the Bible describes these...
365 over 2, thank you. Kingdom Hearts 365 over 2 is canon. But none of the rest of them are. D with Goblin says, is it just me being a spooky contrarian, or does anyone else see this fundy pearl clutching as actually feel more like smoking weed, wearing black, and hailing Satan? I think that's the contrarian in you.
Practices as an abomination to the Lord, meaning that God hates these things. And if God hates them, do you think that we...
Your favorite Kingdom Hearts game is Super Smash Bros. I love that they added Sora, but added literally no Disney things, because of course they couldn't get the rights to Disney things. It's like, oh, here's Sora. And none of the other things that are famous with Sora, but he's got a Keyblade! Stone Corbell says, wow, the 10 Commandments are your only guide to right and wrong, are they? So homosexuality is just fine, I guess. I think they would consider that adultery. Because to them, you can never get married to a same-sex partner in their view. So any homosexual act would be, by default, adultery. Hydrate.
We should have any involvement in watching them? Romans 1:32 states very clearly, who knowing the judgment of God, they that which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. If we simply enjoy the things that the Bible defines as sin, for example, magic and sorcery, we are worthy of that same judgment by taking pleasure in what...
But do you enjoy the Bible where they talk about sorcery? Because that's also a book that includes sorcery. Right? Does that make sense? Narnania Owl says, Disney was actually cited as the reason why earlier plans for Sora fell through, so no surprise there. Yeah, not surprising. These people seem to not understand the difference between depiction and endorsement. Something can be depicted in media without it being endorsed. Like, what's a really extreme example? Like, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas as a movie depicts Nazis carrying out the Holocaust, right? That doesn't mean the movie is endorsing that. Quite the opposite, in fact. You can show something in a movie while framing it as a bad thing. Not that it matters. Magic isn't real, so it doesn't matter.
Watching others commit those sins.
Worthy of death.
Beautiful. Tube Man says 365/2 was just the story of how Roxas joined Organization 13, Fake, while he was separated from Sora's body, during which he became friends with Axel and Xeon, who was a failed clone of Sora. Nope, all that went that went in my brain and it fell right out. If one more person tries to explain to me how there are fucking 7 different Xehanorts, I'm gonna Minecraft. Narnatic Owl says Passion of the Christ would be a great example for their own camp. Sure. Zeitgeist 75, thanks for 6 months. Jake is Hannah's nobody. Funny. For the record, I've played Kingdom Hearts. I don't like the story, though. I like hack and slashing through Disney worlds. The story sucks, and I skip the cutscenes. But friendship for 13 fucking hours. Fuck you, Goofy. Stop passing out. Princess Amelia says Kingdom Hearts continuity is a thing. I know. I'm familiar. I've watched YouTube videos to try and understand it. I fundamentally decided that Kingdom Hearts lore is like NFTs. It's not that I don't understand it. I understand it, it's just stupid. Okay, what are we doing next? Did we watch Chris's failed egg experiment? I forget if we watched this last week or no. No? Nick says, with the sole difference being artists actually get paid for creating Kingdom Hearts. True. Morok with a link. God damn it. Okay, so a week or so ago, Chris, CC here, Westchester County, he talked about how on the equinox, which was a little bit ago, there's an old wives' tale that says if you can stand an egg up, right side up, and have it balance, but only on the equinox. This is, of course, not true. It's an old wives' tale. But Chris was adamant. He's like, this is true, and let me explain. If this works, I'll explain exactly why I think this works. So this is his attempt on the equinox at the exact time that it's, supposed to be viable to stand an egg up. Tube Man says, remember, Hannah, nobodies are people without hearts, and heartless are hearts with no bodies.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's March 20th, 2022, the equinox.
I gotta turn this up a little bit. He's quiet because he's in the home and he doesn't want to annoy his wife.
Equinoxes get their name from Latin for equal night, and mark the only 2 points in the year when the equator is the closest part of Earth to the sun, with both northern and southern hemispheres sharing sunlight equally. Well, we all know that's bullshit because we don't live on the fucking planet. Hey, okay? So
Flat Earth on the bingo card.
Here we are. It's now 11:30 in the PM hour. Let's just get the Verizon time right now. Yeah, we're at 11:29 right now. Okay.
I think he meant on his, phone. Chris, did you know that your phone and its time is dictated by the telecommunications network? So your phone's time is set by the fact that it's connected to a cell phone tower, and the telecommunication network kind of depends upon our ability to understand the shape of the Earth.
I've been standing up some coins.
CC implies his wife hates him. Sure.
Here, just to show you my skills. Here's a quarter. Okay. Nickels are pretty easy. times are the most difficult. But, okay, so those are my skills in terms of balancing things so they stand upright. Now, I can't seem to get this egg. Just your conventional egg, brown egg. Okay. To do that.
Chris, do it further up the counter so we can see it. Salium says, pretty sure that if you don't like anime that you were never going to like Kingdom Hearts. True.
At all. Now this is the fat end right here.
You love the framing of his video, I know. He's great.
11:33, guys. That's when it's happening. Oh, and by the way, the Equinox Hotel in the city in Manhattan is on Highland Road, and it's 33 Highland Road. Those bastards. I love that number. Okay.
I think you love that number, Chris. You're the one who keeps bringing it up. No, this is not. Don't understand how cameras work. He's just a bad. He's bad at framing. He understands how the camera works vaguely.
Hold on.
Does he live in an apartment? It's either an apartment or like a condominium. It's definitely in a building with other units. It's not like a house.
Almost got it.
We already had spurious symbology.
I've been trying this for the last 2 or 3 days now.
We're gonna watch him struggle with this egg for a while.
Fuck out of here. No way. This is the closest I've ever gotten. Let's see.
This is riveting television. Astrofox says CC, C equals 3. CC, 33. How do you not see that this nonsense is nonsense from that?
Okay.
I need to say that. C equals 3. CC equals 33. Free Mason confirmed.
Alright, let's see. Can you see this? Oh, you can't see this.
Oh, you figured it out! Good job, Chris.
Okay.
Rachology says, he's just making sure that the focus of the frame is that beautiful wall clock, so round and flat, just like our flat Earth.
I am shocked because I haven't even been able to come close to this. Get out of here. You didn't hear that. We're approaching 11:33 right now.
He's going fucking crazy. Yeah, I'm with you, Will. Will says, this is a video of a sad man descending into madness. I know, just trying to balance fucking eggs to prove the Earth is flat.
Come on.
I know this is slow and, like, not very interesting, but I need to illustrate to you how much time Chris spent on this to try and prove the Earth is flat via egg. It did pass 1133.
I'll fix it. Don't worry about it.
His wife's trying to get him to do something. I'm trying to prove the Earth is flat with an egg, woman. We do it later. Stone Corbell says, this is similar to the classic wife getting mad at him video in terms of why would you upload this because it makes him look insane. Dread Pirate Mick, thanks for 15 months, says CC being a good scientist and publishing null results. True! This is peer review, people. We are Chris's peers, and that we have no decree that would make this a valid experiment, even if it was some kind of experiment, which it's not. God, I got new makeup, and it's so much smoother. Holy shit.
Alright, I think we've surpassed 1133 right now at this point. Hold on.
What brand is it? Keep watching the egg. I'll go look.
It seems like it wants to... Oh! I almost had it right there.
It's Tarte. Tarte. T-A-A-R-T-E. Radiology says the final sign of his total breakdown is when he stops caring for his hair. True. He has beautiful hair.
Okay. Almost had it. Okay, alright. I think we're past 1133 right now. Yeah, we're at 1135. So.
My comment isn't showing up. I've commented on his videos before, so he might have, like, blocked it so I'm shadow banned. It's possible, at least. Well, someone liked my comment. Maybe he deleted it already.
No, I couldn't do it.
Oh, you have to sort by new? Dr. Gamble says, CC, hard-boiled detective. Globe Earth is over. Easy. Oh, over easy. I get it. 'Cause eggs! He gives up in a second, guys. I know. It's taking a while. This is excruciating. His brain has been scrambled.
You know, no, it's not happening.
Why did you smash the egg, Chris? That was a perfectly good egg. You could have eaten it. Why did you smash it? Yolk's on him. Yeah. Just the image of this man in his late 40s, early 50s, whatever it is. Just dejected. Abso-fucking-lutely dejected over not being able to prove the Earth is flat because he couldn't balance an egg in his kitchen. This is wonderful. Maps and Mimic says he's about to make his exit. I have no idea. I don't know how balancing the egg would have made him think the Earth is flat. I don't know. He said he was going to explain it if it worked, but it never worked. So he didn't even have the confidence to actually state his hypothesis unless he succeeded.
All right, well, that didn't work on my end here.
Nick with 45 bits.
At the equinox, peak time. Does that prove anything? No. It doesn't prove shit.
But if it had worked, I guarantee he would have used it as proof for something. D with Goblin says, this egg equinox party sucks.
If it did stand upright, I don't know. I don't know what it would have proven at all. But I do know one thing. I do know something about sound. And sound travels at 1,100 feet per second. Okay. Now, the...
Dr. Gamble says, Cece, even an old wives' tale is telling you you're wrong. Time to throw in the towel.
So-called ball that you live on revolves around 1,000 miles per hour. 1,100 feet per second is equivalent to 750 miles per hour. Okay? Which doesn't make any sense to me, because if I'm looking at a plane that's 35,000 feet in the sky, how could I possibly ever hear the sound of that plane? Well,
I see where he's incorrect here. Chris, the reason is because sound travels through a medium. The medium in this case is the atmosphere, the air around us, right? So if you're underwater and you speak, the medium is water. If you're just out here in the air, the medium is air. What is actually happening when I speak or make noise, clap, whatever, I'm disturbing the medium, right? And it's sending out waves through the medium. These are sound waves, right? That gets to your eardrum picks it up, sends signals to your brain, which then interprets it as noise. So the medium that we are in, the atmosphere, is traveling along with the rotation of the Earth. So relative to you and the plane, the atmosphere is stationary, more or less. Even though, of course, it is moving, it's just moving along with the Earth. But all motion is relative, so to us and the plane, it is stationary. At least, practically speaking, for this analogy, or for this explanation.
While we're revolving on this ball.
Yeah.
Because the sound
so's the atmosphere.
It's waves. So when those wavelengths come down and we're revolving,
yeah,
there should be some sort of distortion or something like that, right? But yet we can hear it.
Right, we can hear it because the atmosphere is moving along with the Earth. So it becomes basically a null motion. It's non-existent because it moves at the same speed.
There's a 5-second delay, of course, which is even more the reason why we are stationary.
What? The speed of sound is why we're stationary?
We're not moving. We're covered with a dome or something. Not really sure what it is, but you're stationary. You're not going anywhere. You will never see a person land on one of these magical things up in space, because
I believe in 2024 the Artemis program is supposed to land humans back on the moon. God, I've said it before, but I'm just salivating at the thought of how good of a Tinfoil Tuesday that week is going to be. We might do a live stream, honestly, just of the moon landing, if that does in fact happen in 2024, and I hope it does. They recently put the Artemis 1 at the launch pad, because I think in June they're planning on the first official test launch of the full Artemis rocket. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. That's going to be fun. Astrofox says it's not going to be 2024. Unfortunately, the spacesuits aren't ready yet. That's a bummer. Still, hopefully this decade.
It doesn't exist. They're all lights in the sky. Now, the sun and the moon are a whole different story, but I'll get into that in another video. Because they're a lot closer than you think. Anyway, so that was my equinox experiment, which failed. The egg didn't stand up right, so...
See, Chris, though, it didn't fail. You learned something about how that story isn't true. You disproved a hypothesis. You learned something, and that's how science works. You disproved something. Congratulations, you kinda did a science. It wasn't a good experiment, but if you were 5 years old, I'd say, see, okay, see how you came up with a hypothesis? You came up with something you thought was gonna happen, made a prediction, and then tested that prediction, and now that prediction didn't come true, so now you have to change your hypothesis, you know? I don't know. If your kid was 5 years old, this is a good little thing to do, to teach him about disconfirmation, I suppose. And falsification.
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't prove anything.
If, however, you are in your late 40s or early 50s and you are doing this and this is your takeaway, may God have mercy on your soul. And your egg.
Alright, thank you for subbing. Thank you for viewing my videos and letting me be a part of your life.
He's done other videos recently, so let's check him out quickly.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 3/26/22. Admiral Byrd went down to Antarctica around 1928. Stayed there for a couple of years. Television, sports, all your entertainment, it's all bullshit. Okay. They had to come up with something to keep you distracted.
Do you think sports didn't exist until, like, the 20th century? Sports have existed forever?
You tuned in and indoctrinated.
Tea with Goblin says, Hannah, omelet, you finish, but Cece had the worst... I'ma let you finish, but Cece had the worst egg experiment of all time. Now I want an omelet. Yeah, it sounds like he has the stove fan on, which is a great way to film a video, by the way.
In 1937, the Laurel Brothers, which was a TV show back then, filmed in black and white, used a green screen in 1937.
Oh, let's see how that looked. Laurel Brothers. Laurel Brothers green screen. Well, that's not helpful. Laurel Brothers. Am I spelling Laurel Brothers wrong? One sec. Look up green screen, 1930s. Yeah, that'll do it. Because I've seen green screen shots from, like, the 80s that don't look so hot. You know what I mean? There were no TV shows in 1937. You're right, actually. When was TV invented? Like for practical purposes, not the actual technology, but consumer-grade televisions. The evolution of green screens from the 1930s. He might be talking about a movie or something, though. Let's look at YouTube. First use of green screen. God, YouTube is hard to search nowadays. It doesn't give you the... I feel like it doesn't give you the things that you're actually looking for. How about this one?
Green screen compositing of the reel. The very first compositing technique was invented by George Méliès, who spent his life studying the art of illusion. In his film Four Heads Are Better Than One, Méliès employed a visual trick that used mattes for multiple exposures.
Thief of Baghdad, 1940. Thank you.
In the film, he would black out part of the frame using a piece of glass with some black paint.
For me? Yeah, okay, so Chris is going to go on to explain that they had technology back in the day, therefore they could have tricked people. Chris, this is 1940. This doesn't look too great. No offense. It looks good for the time. It's charming, but like it doesn't look real.
This is the first moment of my life, your life. In a moment I shall lift my foot and crush you. Insect, beetle, worm that you are.
Beautiful.
In 1969, they faked the moon mission.
No, they didn't.
So if we were working with a green screen in 1937, could you imagine what we could be doing right now, or what they could be doing right now in 2022?
Television was invented in 1923 by John Television.
With these fake rockets that are going off and all this other bullshit.
Chris, you can go to a rocket launch and watch them take off.
Could you imagine the CGI they have right now? They've been working on it, collecting all of our money.
Have you seen the final fight in Black Panther? Still looks sketch sometimes.
With an unlimited budget. My belief is that I don't think it took Alma Bird 30 years to figure out, or our country to figure out that the Earth is flat and covered with a dome. I think it only took about 2 years. Of course, we had a couple of world wars that were in the middle of that, but I think it only took a couple of years for them to really figure it out, and that's why.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, entertainment is meant to distract you is a classic conspiracy trope used by every part of the political spectrum. Tankies are literally using it right now as part of their Ukraine conspiracies.
Television was introduced. That's why comedians were introduced.
Wait, does he think comedians didn't exist until the 20th century?
So I'm figuring out all these numbers. Yeah, 1928, 1930... 1937, 1931,
Ninety Owl says, even at the time where NASA had the budget, it would have been more expensive to create a convincing fake moon landing than the actual thing. Without an entertainment, why are we living? I guess to just be mad about the shape of the Earth.
Okay, and anyway. Taking 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2. I come to a conclusion with all these numbers. See, they're all satanic numbers, satanic years. Okay, you have to
numerology.
Understand that, and that's how they work. Okay, and I come up with a final number of 422. That's April 22nd, or verse 422 in the Bible. Now, I usually don't become biblical about this, but God is our creator. We all know that. We've accepted it if you're a flat earther, because obviously everything around us is created from whoever it may be, he or she.
I think Chris is declining cognitively in a very apparent way, and it's concerning. Overthought says, Flat Earthers' own strong weak complaint is interesting. Bad technology of the 60s was good enough to fool millions, but cutting-edge tech of today is easy to see through by people like Cece. His opponent is both strong and weak. Yes. Good point I hadn't considered.
That verse at 422 For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed. And forever is hidden is meant to be brought out. So figuring out all these years when we supposedly went down to Antarctica, and, you know, the military parade and all sorts of stuff, and I come up with 422. I think there's the next event is going to happen on that date. That's my guess. That's my calculations. 422. So you've got about...
His calculations! Tucker White says, NASA wanted to fake the moon landing, but Northrop Grumman underbid Stanley Kubrick to do a real one.
What is it? 2016? Got about 4 weeks.
Honestly, I think the best argument against Stanley Kubrick directing the moon landing is they would still be filming it today. He never would have thought it was perfect enough.
Stock up.
No government employee deserves to be treated like an actor in a Stanley Kubrick film.
Do whatever you have to do. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. And, yeah, okay. Whatever. I actually acknowledge people who pick up my
dropped my
videos
dice.
and everything like that. And that's fine. I mean, that's what they're there to do. You know, I mean, people want to get more views. They want to get more money.
He's a natural
See,
14.
I don't make any money doing this. I get 0 from YouTube. And I'm censored.
Hydrate.
And I can't say what I really want to tell everybody about what's been going on. And that's why I'll be switching to a different platform. And that platform will be disclosed shortly.
Exciting.
Meanwhile, I thank you for
We're
so
gonna
much.
get CC Uncensored.
My videos only be a part of your life.
Are you guys ready for Uncensored CC? It's gonna be beautiful.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 3/29/22. At the end of March right now, going into April. I want to show you the conditioning that's been going on with people by the billionaires and the trillionaires. Yeah, that's right. We're up to trillion now. There are people that have trillions of dollars.
Officially, no. I still think the richest are in like the $200 million range, but if it turned out that like Vladimir Putin had $1 trillion, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Tea with Goblin says, if Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing, Buzz Aldrin would still have PTSD from being yelled at for hours and forced to redo the same shot of him bouncing across the lunar surface over and over. Gregory Term says, I budgeted a set of tungsten dice last year. Tungsten being a very dense makes other metal dice feel nigh weightless. It's truly an insane experience. That's fun.
Because, you know, can't get into that, this son of a bitch. Well, let's just say a crisis is always a good way to make a lot of money. Never put a good crisis to waste. And that's exactly what they've done. I want to go back to the day, back to 1998. Bill Gates came out with a particular program called Windows, which has just simplified the computer for us because we were all originally dealing with DOS.
He seems more energetic here. Yeah, when he's in his house, he's super quiet and unenergetic because his wife hates him and he's trying to keep quiet. So when he's on his own, he has a lot more manic behavior and energy.
Figures and people used to consider our computers like big fucking calculators. And basically that's what they were until a nice simple program decided to come out.
Yeah, Windows came out before 98. Maybe Windows 98 was the first one he owned, so he thinks that was the first one.
So Bill Gates came out with Windows, and then he came out with several ones after that one, and forced you to update your computer. He had the power over millions of people that had HP computers.
Then get Linux, Jesus.
And we're onto that platform. Apple, on the other hand, actually spinned it off doing something else. All right, they both made their money. They both made their cash. They're set for lifetimes beyond ours.
Why does he say spinned it off as if, like, Apple OS is... Does he think Apple OS is like a spin-off of Windows? They're completely different operating systems, Chris.
So Bill Gates came out with Windows, 2, then the 3, and then 4, 7, 8, and I think we stopped at 10. All of a sudden, Windows just stopped. They're not doing any more updates anymore. But those updates, back when it was like 7, and then Windows 8 came out, he would mail out floppy disks to everybody. I mean, not floppy disks.
Personally, Bill Gates licked every envelope.
CDs to everybody so they could get to it.
There is Windows 11 now, yes.
This is before we had apps and all this other shit. And our internet speed sucked back then, too. I mean, most of us were still on dial-up in 98, you know? So, anyway, they decided to do that, and...
You think Chris ever had to actually dial into a modem? You think he had the thing with the phone on the thing?
They forced everybody... See, the conditioning. That's what I'm talking about. I'm getting into the conditioning that they have placed us under. You know what I'm saying? And I remember before I was into flat Earth, I remember, you know, we got to update the computer. You got to put 9 in there. You got to put 10 in there. And one was just as worse as the other one. You know, your updates basically did nothing but eat more memory out of your fucking computer. As a matter of fact, you can't even buy a fucking computer right now at all without Windows being installed in there. And it's free, right? No bullshit. You're paying for that because the amount of money it costs to fuck.
Chris, you can install different operating systems on a computer, and you can make your own computer, like buying parts and stuff, and install whatever OS you want? What? 90 Owl says, this is uncanny. CC is being a lot more accurate about computers, of all things. And Stone Corbell says, new thing scary. I'm old.
Fucking build a laptop computer is like $200. You know, the reason why it's $600 is because you got that fucking software in there. Look, anyway. I mean,
Wait, does he think a computer would be way cheaper? Like, don't get me wrong, there is some expense in a computer because they're licensing. If you buy, like, an off-the-shelf computer, usually licensing, like, Windows or something. Most of the expense of the computer is not from the OS. The hardware is expensive.
Look, I come back from the day when we used to build our own computers. We used to take a fucking tower.
Like, I think when I went to, like, look at building a computer, the Windows OS program to, like, install into the computer was, like, $100-something. It was, like, the cheapest part of the computer.
We used to just ram shit in there and flip on the button, and then that was it. It worked. You know, we put laser discs in there. We put a hard drive in there. We upgraded the hard drive.
You had a computer with a laser disc player? What?
Through the old...
Does he think CDs are laser discs?
Hard drive, and no, those days are done. No, Microsoft, Apple decided to package a nice little office computer for you. You know, now you have to buy it in one piece, and you can't really do much to it at all. But everybody's...
Chris, you don't have to buy a computer in one piece. Young people, especially if you're buying, like, a gaming PC, these days usually purchase, like, components and put them together. What are you talking about?
Moved over to laptop computers, and laptops you can't work on at all. Whatever you got in a laptop, you can't take the back off and just start fucking around with it and putting other pieces in there. Can't do that anymore. And the same with our phones, but that's another video. So anyway, the conditioning was already placed. Bill Gates decided to go out and buy millions of dollars worth of pharmaceutical stock. Why would he ever do that? Why would a computer guy ever get involved? I mean, he's not even a computer.
Has Chris heard of diversification? Again, we can talk about the predatory nature of venture capitalism, but to not understand why a rich person would diversify their portfolio into other things other than the industry that they came from is dumb.
I would say software guy, ever get involved with pharmaceuticals.
Because there's profit to be made, unfortunately.
All of a sudden, bam, where we are right now. And then these people make trillions off of this. Trillions of dollars off of this. I don't even know how much money they have. I don't think anybody knows. The money doesn't mean anything to these people. So they were conditioning us all the way back almost 20 years ago, leading up to this great time that we're in right now where everybody's kind of bored. It's kind of stagnant right now, right? I mean, are you even watching what's going on with the conflict? I could care less.
Chris, yes, I keep as up to date as I can with my mental health, but yeah, I do, and I think most people do to some extent.
I don't even really hear much of it anymore. I mean, I know something's gonna, happen in the next 4 or 5 days. I'm sure it's got to. The soap opera's getting boring, guys. You got to go on to a next topic or update the one that we're working with right now. Because you can't get any news from anywhere else at all. Can't even... okay, anyway. So, Facebook decides to donate $400 $60 million to Biden's administrative campaign. Now, why would he do that? You know, why would that little fuck, why would he do that?
Rich people and companies donate tons of money to both political parties, usually, in order to garner favors and to get their ear on issues that benefit the company. That's not new. Although Citizens United made it a much, 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 much worse problem.
Because he wants to pocket line all these people. He wants to run the country. And you can see how much of a good job he's done. You see how much of a good job Bill Gates have done. That puppet that's behind that desk in that White House over there is nothing. He's just a puppet. That's all he is.
Unconditional Prong, thanks for 15 months, says, still subbing, but won't have as much time to watch for the next few months due to my girlfriend moving in with me in June. Oh, that'll be fun. Congrats.
They wanted to see how they could destroy the country and how quickly they could do it in. And they did it successfully in the last...
That doesn't make sense as a motive. This isn't a space in the bingo card, but it's a pretty common trope in conspiracy theories where the motives they ascribe to the members of the conspiracy don't make any sense. Most people act in self-interest, even if, or at least what they believe is their own self-interest, right? Obviously, people make bad decisions all the time, but people tend to act in what they believe to be their own self-interest. Not always, you can have altruistic things, but the kind of people that they're painting a picture of in these conspiracies are normally self-interested evil people who don't care about others and only care about their own self-interest. No one's self-interest is served by destroying the American economy, really. No one's self-interest is served long-term by destroying relative stability in America, right? Very few people, I should say. And it doesn't really make sense long-term for a conspiracy.
Year and a half, they've managed to just destroy it. Turn everybody's life upside down. Get the cities a mess where you might as well burn them down at this point. Well, they're starting to come back. We're starting to get people in there. But anyway, look, but the conditioning was happening many years ago before this big thing. Okay? And it was already going back to the software, to everything that you have, to the new phones. The conditioning was always there.
Biden invented smartphones confirmed. Princess Amelia says, it's like the smart supervillain philosophy. Why would I want to destroy the world? That's where all my stuff is.
Here we are. 5 or 6 years later, not a single shred of evidence of a spinning wet ball. Apart from pictures from NASA, apart from bullshit from SpaceX, which is all CGI and all nonsense, not a single shred of evidence. But yet the trolls still come hard at us, left and right, and they don't even know what they live on.
Ball.
Because they've got nothing to do. They call us losers? They're the losers for not investigating any of this shit.
Stone Corbell says, apart from the evidence, there's no evidence. It's always the way.
They're the losers who weren't looking at the ISS and tearing it apart and seeing shadows all over the place.
Nernadia Owl says, him complaining about not hearing about Ukraine conflict now when it's like 2 weeks ago he said it was a distraction from Flat Earth is an interesting take. Yeah.
They're the idiots that are not watching this pathetic shit live feed from China, which is the biggest joke. NASA doesn't even want to have anything to do with it. They won't even touch it. They won't go near it. You got the fucking... I don't even know what camera they're using. It can't be a GoPro. It's got to be something else, or they're layering upon layering videos on top of each other.
I don't even know what he's talking about right now. Tucker White says, at this point, I'd believe Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk wouldn't care if life on Earth collapsed. They're rich enough that they'll never suffer in the Mad Max post-apocalypse. They would not be a Morton Joe. They would be killed in a hypothetical Mad Max movie, not real life.
Because, I mean, the Earth is like up here, it's down there, it's all over the fucking place. It looks like an oval. I mean, it's bad. Okay, go ahead, go research it. Go start from there.
By the way, China put up a space station. Did you see how big it is inside relative to the ISS? It's actually kind of nuts. Let's see. Like, it's still claustrophobic, but it's a lot bigger than the ISS. So that's interesting. The next generation of space stations are a very interesting thing to me.
There. Start with NASA. Start with the space agencies. Start with them. And then build yourself up and say, why would they lie? Oh, it's not just China who's lying about it. It's everybody is lying about it. Every single space agency is fake. That's why they have all these satanic bullshit. And every single emblem that they have, it's all there. And not a single shred of evidence has been given to us about anything regarding space. Other than pictures and bullshit and videos. That SpaceX fucking thing, that thing is the biggest joke of them all. Now he thinks he's considering getting out of it now and going into something else. Why would he do that? Because he's not going anywhere. He's not going to Mars. He's not going anywhere. It's a fucking Hayden Planetarium up there. Time and time again, we tell you about this, and these people still do not research it. Every channel, every Flat Earth channel, the only way they're going to continue getting subs is if Flat Earthers start taking their videos and channeling it through and downloading it and publishing it themselves. That's the only way. You're not going to get any new subs from anywhere. They're not showing any of our videos anywhere. And this has been like this for a while. It's the only time I ever get subs. Is when somebody else takes my videos and they start fucking doing whatever they're doing with it. You know? I don't know who these people are who are subbing to me. I only get a handful of them that actually say anything on my,
You're welcome, Chris.
On my comments, so I don't really care. I leave the comments up there for amusements. It really is amusing. Anyway, it's not even worth getting it.
Who am I, Hannah? I don't exist. Don't ask me these questions.
But you see where it all began. You see where it all started from. And that's just how it is. And that's how it's always going to be. It's moving faster, yes. But, you know, and here we are back in the fucking icebox with this weather gear. I mean, I can't fucking believe it. I thought I'd retire this sweater. And
Tucker White says, Chris, if you're finding it hard to get subs, try reach out for DOMs and
put it in my freaking closet. I wouldn't have to look at it until next fucking year. But no, here we are. Back in the icebox. It's just for a couple of more days, guys. Come on. You live in New York. It's cold. What are you going to do? I thank you for subbing. I thank you for reviewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Jesus Christ, Chris is a strange gentleman. Moving on. I guess we should probably do a bingo check. We haven't done one yet. Illuminati Freemasons. Satanic. Numerology. Daddy Sume says, Hannah, make me VIP, please. I want my extra special hat. The fact that you want it means I won't give it to you, because it's funny. He did say do your own research. He said, like, you can't do your own research or something like that, which is close enough. CC infers his wife hates him. Okay, I think that's it for this page. Flat Earth. I'm gonna say that's not how science works, just for his whole egg experiment. I don't even know what he was trying to do there, if I'm being honest. It was supposed to be an experiment, but... Can you have a special hat purely despite Daddy Sume? No, I only get so many VIPs I'm allowed to make VIPs. So I gotta save it for actual VIPs. Sick burn. Something is false flag operation, because he thinks the whole Ukraine thing is fake. Spurious symbology is evidence. Did I not do that one? Yeah, it is. Spurious symbology is evidence. Recording in car. Science fiction is fact. And that's it, I think. Can I deliberately choose to not give me VIP? Thanks in advance. Sounds great. The gay agenda. Actually, you're right. The first thing today we did mention, like, gay agenda type stuff. So fair. Gay agenda. Now we're good. Wait, 84 and 86. What are those? Let me look. 84, 86. Yeah, we got those. Okay. Hydrate. Let's learn about interdimensional beings and why this person thinks they're contacting us. That's Gaia. I don't think we got anything new from that one. Ooh, here's a quick one.
When it came out, it was Corona, right? Corona. Corona is 6 letters. When you use gematria and you say A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and you put Corona lined out at 66. So that's 666.
Is there a call update? Actually, no, I haven't looked at call in a while. I wonder if he thinks the Will Smith thing is some sort of false flag.
But we found that out. So they're saying the white wing crazies found it out, so they changed it to COVID-19, which is C. What is this? C, right?
To C, yeah.
Ovid. Look it up. Ovid means sheep. 19, military code for surrender. C, sheep, surrender. That's no joke.
Wow, that is actually the first I've heard of that.
When it came out...
She's brilliant. She figured us out, guys. This is a brief video, but it's someone talking about how they think the slap was some sort of conspiracy.
There's growing...
Nick says, no lady, Corona is a class of viruses, the coronavirus. Yeah, it's colloquially, it was called the coronavirus, but it's not the only coronavirus.
Outrage today over the smack heard around the world.
Oh, wow!
Some are calling on the Academy Awards to take away Will Smith's Oscar.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay?
This is Truth Seeker here with another quick video, and this is all you see people talking about since this happened. So I would venture to say mission accomplished, because this is nothing more than a distraction. Here we see Will Smith doing the hidden hand sign during his acceptance speech. The hidden hand symbol is rooted in secret societies. It's rooted in all kinds of evil. And then also we see him standing behind the Illuminati pyramid, because
Illuminati on the
of
bingo
course
card.
they got to tie that into everything. This is nothing more than another distraction to distract the masses while they do all kinds of ungodly things. And while we're on the brink of a planned World War III, while we're on the brink of a planned food
Tucker White says, yeah, that Victorian guy was twisting his nip.
shortage, why we are on the brink of the Great Reset that they are planning. But yes, let's go ahead and script this to keep people distracted.
That guy's terrible. So many conspiracy theorists are so uncharismatic, it's wild to me. I think that's one of the reasons that Call actually does have so many followers relative to other conspiracy theorists, because even though he's awful and mean, he has a personality. So, that's the key to his success. Poetic Fox says, "Hey Hannah, I met a guy today who was just a big-ass baby about me wearing a mask at work. Kept making a big deal about not being able to hear me as I asked him about his glasses and took measurements." Oh, people are idiots. I'm not having discourse about the slap. I don't feel like it. I thought it was so ridiculous, it made me laugh. I don't think I've even stated my actual opinion on, like, what I think about it, and I'm not going to. I'm going to laugh at it because I thought it was absolutely absurd. I'm not going to talk about my actual feelings on it, because it doesn't matter. It's a thing a bunch of rich assholes did. It does not matter. Nick says, not to mention he's bigoted, which draws a fan base, unfortunately. True. Here are some celebrity conspiracies.
There are numerous theories surrounding Beyonce and Jay-Z. One of the craziest is the idea of the rapper being a time-traveling vampire. The concept surfaced
Vampires on the bingo card. That's a rare one.
After a 1933 photo taken in Harlem found its way to the internet with one man.
That wouldn't mean he's a time traveler. If he was a vampire, he could either be a time traveler or a vampire. He wouldn't need to be both. Like, if he was a vampire, he would have just been back then and lived today because they live forever. If he was a time traveler, he wouldn't need to be a vampire because he could just travel back in time. Also, he doesn't even look like him. I think whoever came up with this conspiracy theory is just racist and can't tell the difference between two people who aren't white. Nick says, that's a hell of a way to admit you're so racist you can't tell one black person from another. That's what I'm saying! They don't even look alike!
And looking an awful lot like Jay-Z.
No, they don't! Look at him!
The rapper wasn't born until December 1969.
Stephen J. Neptune Man says, do we really need discourse over the slap? It's just one guy getting pissed at another guy mocking his wife and bitch slapping him over it. It's not that deep. Yeah, I'm not talking about it. We keep talking about it. I'm not talking about it.
So clearly the only excuse is that he's a time-traveling vampire.
Anyone who is not entirely familiar, or still ignores the existence of a shadow government that controls the planet through ancient bloodlines and various secret societies, will either think that their uncanny resemblance is nothing but a coincidence.
It was discovered that Daniel Radcliffe had lived a former life as his grandmother. He was also spotted masquerading as a soldier at a gig in Manchester in the 1940s. He was also seen posing as a sex worker in the 1800s.
I'm the man exposing the truth about John Lennon's murder. Stephen King, Casey Key resident, shot John Lennon.
You think Stephen King killed him? Okay, that's a new one.
Theory surfaces from Steve Lightfoot, who believed horror writer Stephen King was the one to murder John Lennon. His claims come from a photo of Lennon taken the day of the murder, where he's signing an autograph for Mark Chapman, who was convicted for Lennon's murder. Lightfoot believes the man in the photo looks more like King.
This theory raises far more questions than it could ever answer. What was Stephen King's motive? Why'd the other guy take the fall? And why would the US government enlist an independently wealthy author to assassinate a world-renowned musician?
Look at this.
Tucker says Daniel Radcliffe as his grandmother. That's the premise of a Monty Python sketch.
This is a guy finds this picture. This is for a Civil War, roughly 1860s, and a guy says that it likely is you.
Right. Well,
Let me say that there is a resemblance, but how can I be polite about this? It's a somewhat slowed down version of me.
The guy's theory is that you look exactly the same now, and therefore that makes you a vampire.
Right.
That's the theory.
Yeah,
That's
except there's a photograph of me, and you can't take pictures.
This is you from Moonstruck.
I don't drink blood, and last time I looked in the mirror, I have a reflection, so I'm not going with his vampire theory.
He's defensive about this. I'm starting to think Nick Cage might be a vampire. Rachology says the discourse calls. It needs your opinion. It needs others to judge you for your opinion. The discourse needs to consume us all. No.
Hey everyone, Truth News here. And so I have been researching this topic that Taylor Swift is the clone of Zena LaVey, the daughter of Anton LaVey, a known Satanist and the founder of the Church of Satan. At first I found this kind of silly, but of course when I researched into this topic,
Stone Corbell researching, and we gotta play this now. Is this him saying I'm a vampire? I'm a vampire! Yeah. Vampire's Kiss. Solid movie. Would recommend. Oh, where did that go?
kind of grown suspicions.
What if vampires wear makeup and colored contacts so their skin and eyes show up in photos and reflections? Good theory.
Now, one of the main evidence that Taylor Swift and Zena LaVey might be that Taylor Swift might be a clone of Zena LaVey is that they look strikingly similar. I mean, you would have to be blind.
They just look like there's a little bit of resemblance, but they're just like kind of light-skinned blonde women. Other than that, they have a different facial structure. What?
Not to see the similarities. Mainly, Taylor Swift's whole career is based off rebellion, which is what the Church of Satan teaches.
Is it? Tucker White says, but a more important question, does Nicolas Cage sparkle? Ah, Twilight jokes. Very edgy in the year of our Lord 2022. And relevant. Oh shit, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I remember now. Was it based on rebellion? When I was a kid and Taylor Swift was first becoming popular, her whole thing was like, oh, it was like little cutesy love songs and like acoustic guitar ballads. Like, was she ever? I don't know, modern Taylor Swift, I guess. At some point she probably got more like, ooh, rebellion, I don't know, but that was not how her career started.
So if they can clone sheeps, imagine what
the plural of sheep is sheep. And also, from what I understand, from what Baha has told me, Dolly the sheep was basically a fluke, and it's not something that's like reproducible easily. There's a reason there aren't a million Dolly the sheeps around. Oh, I did it now too.
they can do with humans.
According to this theory, Travolta died in 1991 and was swapped out with German singer Roy Black. Although Black died from heart failure on October 9th, 1991, his passing resemblance to Travolta has led some to believe that he faked his death and took the actor's place. Of course, it's unclear how Travolta would have died or why Black replaced him.
How many conspiracy theories are based on the fact that there are a ton of people who are apparently face blind? D with Goblin says, if I remember correctly, the superstition that vampires have no reflections or do not show up in photos is because mirrors used to be backed with silver, and old-timey photos would be developed on silver nitrate, thus negating the image of a vampire. Now, with modern mirrors and digital photographs, vampires could show up in both. We see through your excuses, Cage. That would actually be a fun thing to write into a vampire story in a modern world where, like, they do show up in photos and mirrors and they bring that up. That's kind of interesting.
My model of business is the Beatles. You know, they were four very talented guys who kept each other's kind of negative tendencies in check.
Could Katy Perry actually be John Benet Ramsey? That's
oh, come on!
the bizarre conspiracy theory floating around the internet after this 2014 video resurfaced online.
And telling you again that Joan Benet Ramsey is in fact all grown up as Katy Perry, same person you saw yesterday. Fact. Joan Benet Ramsey did not die. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt. That sacrifice was an in name only, and that sacrifice was to get something, and that something was to become a star. Joan Benet Ramsey became Katy Perry. That's a fact. Looking easily through, you can see the so-called parents of the Katy Perry character are in fact the same too as the Joan Benet. He shaved his head, she lost some weight.
What? The problem is there are a lot of holes in this story, namely the fact that Katy is 31 while John Benet would only be 25 if she were still alive, and there's a record/photos of Katy as a child.
The gist of the theory is that after an argument during a Beatles recording session on November 9th, 1966, Paul McCartney sped off in his car only to be decapitated in an auto accident when he lost control of his vehicle. The UK security service MI5 advised the band to find a replacement, for they feared that if the news of Paul's death got out, mass hysteria would spread among Beatles fans, leading to civil unrest and possible mass suicide. The band held a Paul McCartney lookalike.
I find this hilarious, considering that would mean that replacement Paul was a much more prolific and impressive musician than original Paul. Like, maybe this conspiracy theory kind of plays in 1970, but in 2022 you'd be like, damn, the Paul replacement fucking slaps. Wings? Anyone? Silly love songs? I don't know. Rageology. The rather unfortunate, genetically named Ultraviolet was very underrated late 90s vampire show, or generically named, vampire show from the UK, made by one of the people who would go on to work on one of the first seasons of New Who and co-starred a pre-fame Idris Elba. Did some cool stuff with vampire cliches and is worth checking out if you can find it. Okay. And Morak says, you can also easily find Ramsey's autopsy photos online. She's dead. It's tragic. Stop being gross. Ew.
Contest, and the winner was a Scottish orphan named William Shears Campbell, otherwise known as Billy Shears. After undergoing some minor plastic surgery, the Beatles taught him how to sing, act, and play music just like Paul.
Wow, they nailed it.
Luckily for Billy, his job was made easier by the fact that the Beatles recently retired from touring, and they were all set to don a new look for their upcoming album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
You can notice how they're each carrying a brass instrument, except for Paul, who is carrying a black clarinet. Is this a coincidence, or does the black clarinet refer to the rumor that he died in 1966? Paul is wearing a badge on his shoulder that reads OPD. In Britain, this means officially pronounced dead.
Toward the end of the 60s, is that when the rumors about you being dead surfaced? Do you remember that? Do you remember how that started? What were your feelings about that?
What happened? Yeah, my feeling. What happened was we did a cover for a record called Abbey Road. So, and the idea was to walk across the crossing, and I showed up that day with sandals, flip-flops, and so it was so hot, and I kicked them off and walked across barefooted. So this started some rumor that because he was barefooted, he's dead. I couldn't see the connection myself.
No, I don't. And how do you manage something like that? Because it was a global rumor, and
yeah. I mean, I just laughed at it and knew it was just because of the fame and the craziness. It was an American DJ, so you guys are to blame.
Yeah.
Not you personally, but no, the thing is, I just laughed it off, but it was a little bit strange because people did start looking at me like,
yeah.
Is it him or a very good double?
Well, that was the idea. That was the other part of it, that there was a guy who looked like you taking your place.
No, well, this is him.
Yeah.
D with Goblin says, the Mark Gatiss Stephen Moffat Dracula miniseries was absolutely phenomenal up until the third and final episode, which had Moffat's clumsy handwriting all over it. What a damned shame. I did like the gender-flipped Van Helsing, though, and it was the first time a portrayal of Dracula has made my skin crawl. He was such a predatory creep. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it, just pretend the last episode doesn't exist. What is up with that, with Moffat and Gatiss being able to write some really great stuff, and then it just falling off a cliff? What is up with that?
And
express also our great happiness that we have been able to have this affair with Princess Diane here on her first trip to the United States. Have this affair with Princess Diane, Princess David.
Hey guys, today I'm going to show you that Princess Diana is actually alive and well, living happily ever after as Elton John's boyfriend.
What? Good for him.
Okay, so she did not die. That was all fake. She is David Furnish, and I do believe that this is indeed the same person. So here's two photos here, and I'm going to overlay them. Okay, and we're going to see what happens. There it is. Same face. Look at the mouth, the eyes.
I know they don't.
Everything matches perfectly.
Look at that. 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. Why doesn't anyone see this? Yes, transphobia, transvestigation on bingo.
Okay. You think they would have done more surgery, really? I mean, how hard was it for me to do this? Anyone could do this online. Princess Di's funeral was on TV forever, even in America, where we really don't have much interest in the royal family. It was on TV. It was a big deal. Elton John was singing "Candle in the Wind." Meanwhile, the whole thing was a farce. Meanwhile, later that night, he was sleeping with Princess Diana, who was now reverted back to a man somehow. It's just, you can't make this stuff up.
But there's something about this stance here that reminds me of Lady Di. And this same twist in the body, the look of the neck, the whole bottom of the face. And I'm really...
Tucker White says 2 eyes, a mouth, and a nose. That's Violent J, all right. And Dr. Gamble says deepfake technology must have made this much worse for these people. Oh, can you imagine how bad this is going to be in a couple decades when, deepfake technology is going to be like an app? You can, put in the video, put in, whatever face you want applied to the person. It's going to be wild. It's going to be so bad.
Not liking what's going on here. Look at this one. Look at this one for the Diana look. Oh, all of them seem to have one of the memes of the Diana look too, There's certain the twisted neck, that I'm looking at you with a forehead look. That's what that one is. Look at that. I can just see it there, the way the eyes are looking at.
Radiology says it's because Moffat and Gaddis like to start at 100% and promise unbelievable revelations, and so they have no headroom for the drama. And the thing about unbelievable revelations is that they're unbelievable.
At me, I just can see Lady Di looking at me. Okay, I'm mad, I'm crazy, but I tell you what, that's what I'm seeing. Somebody can correct me and say I'm crazy. Well, that's what you can say, but I tell you, it just smells.
It's the two of them together.
There's something smells
Green
here.
screen technology. Beautiful.
You have a backup experiment. If you're seeing through this hole, through the next hole, and seeing the light at the backboard, or 17 feet off the water, the Earth is flat. If he's holding it up.
Tea with Goblin says, and it seems to me you live your life as Sir Elton's trans guy fling.
Up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Okay, go ahead and drive down there, Enrique. You're going to hold the light there. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, it's as, we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
Turn 15 degrees. It's spinning at one rotation every 24 hours. That means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. Dr. Gamble says, now if you look at Hannah's glasses, you can see that it's the same as James Sterling. Coincidence? I wish I was James Stephanie Sterling. Holy shit.
Now, obviously we were taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem, right? We obviously were not willing to accept that, and so we started looking for ways to disprove that it was actually registering the motion of the Earth and that it in fact was registering the motion of the sky. So the next thing that we
They just use Stephanie now? Okay.
set out
Good
to
to know.
do
Sorry.
was to encase the fiber optic gyro in what's called a zero Gauss chamber to see if we could actually shield the energies being generated by the heaven. And we were unsuccessful with that, unfortunately.
The flat earthers already disproved themselves with the laser tests in that documentary like a year ago, so why is anyone still debating this? Okay, I'm assuming you mean Behind the Curve, the Netflix documentary. The whole thing was a hit piece in order to make flat earth look ridiculous. I know that there was a...
That's funny, because honestly, the documentary was incredibly kind to flat earthers. Highly recommend. If you haven't seen Behind the Curve, watch it. It's great. Very, very generous to flat earthers. Just kind of shows them doing their thing.
laser test that was inconclusive. Just because something is inconclusive, a test is inconclusive, it's not
It was conclusive. You just didn't like the answer.
proof either way. It's inconclusive. So what about flat Mars? Are all planets flat stars, or is only the Earth flat? The misconception here is that we still exist in this solar system with all these other spheres. You can't go to land on Mars, you can't land on the moon. These are not spherical rocks just sitting in a vacuum. They are the lights in the sky as stars are. So is Mars flat? Well, it's not a physical object as far as we can determine. What kind of evidence would convince a flat earther? They keep asking for it, but deny it every time if it proves them wrong. I don't think that's true. I've seen no evidence to say, okay, yeah, the curvature exists. I would love to be shut up. I would love for, any agency to allow an independent investigation of those lands and then say the whole thing, it turned out, it was complete a lie. Flat Earth is a lie. They're all just crazy people. I'd love to see that proof.
Okay, this is the boat-based target. It's horizontal stripes. We're going to launch a small boat out into the water here with a striped target. And as it gets farther and farther out, you'll start to lose the stripes.
And what's really interesting is that some of the flat earthers, including Mark Sargent, are actually going to be here for this test. The test.
Oh my god, it's Mark Sargent.
It's starting right now.
At first, all the stripes are clearly visible. But sure enough, as the boat reaches the horizon, the stripes begin to disappear, one by one.
Lost about 1.5 stripes.
Right. So this can only happen why?
Because of the curvature of the Earth. So here's what we were shooting.
But Mark Sargent and the other flat earthers have a very different interpretation of the results.
So you don't think that what we're seeing is actually real? You think it's because of heat?
For the record, I think at this point Mark Sargent knows the Earth is not flat. He just knows that this is the only thing that's ever gotten him any attention or money. So he does this.
Absolutely heat.
Mark looks away and up, shaking his head no, incongruent with his words. This indicates that he likely doesn't truly believe what he just said.
Pernax, thanks for 2 months with Prime, says, have my free Bezos bucks at work right now, so I will watch the VOD later on YouTube. Well, thanks.
Anyone here in flat Earth believe it's a globe?
Still flat.
No, it's anyone, raise a hand.
It's not a pear either.
Mark, do you really believe this stuff? Tell me the truth. I'm serious.
Mark was coming across as so deceptive that even the interviewer picked up on it. Watch again, see if you can pick it out for yourself, and then I'll point it out for you.
That doesn't change anything for you.
Lord, no.
Mark, do you really believe this stuff? Tell me the truth.
I'm serious.
When she asks Mark that, he bursts out in a duping smile and submissively looks down bashfully for feeling like she just caught him, while he's also using that looking down to conceal his smile. So why is Mark seemingly pretending to be a flat earther? Probably fame, fortune, getting ignorant people to believe something for his own personal gain.
I've never seen this guy. Who is this?
By triggering
the guy talking about this in the bottom corner.
Their emotions.
So this is for me where I think it gets really dangerous, because we're going back into the dark ages.
I don't like body language analysis either, but I want to see the full video because I think that sounds interesting.
Right.
Even
You're
if I don't
essentially
think it's,
perpetuating ignorance by
science.
denying science. You know, there's a real life implication in all of this.
Science has had its chance, and they aren't putting up a defense.
Have you ever confronted someone?
Derek Van... Hold on, let me search this real quick so I can look at it later. Derek Van S-C-H. There he is.
One who you knew was lying, and they started to accuse you of what you just accused them of? Mark is doing that. The scientific community just set up this whole scientific experiment, invited Mark and other flat earthers to see it for themselves. They proved the earth is round, and yet Mark is saying science isn't putting up a defense?
Hi, I'm Dr. Laura Danley. I'm an astronomer. I worked for the NASA Hubble Space Telescope.
Dr. Gamble says, nope, no evidence of space, with a link. Oh, yeah, the rocket POV. It's funny because Chris literally in a really recent video said, why aren't there any cameras on the rockets so I can see it go into space? Like, he clearly hasn't even looked. He doesn't want to be proven wrong. He doesn't want the Earth to be round. He doesn't want to be proven. He just wants to be mad. He doesn't look for any of the things he asks for. Hey, we did it! Space.
Telescope project for 10 years, and for the last 14 years I've been the curator of Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. Well, first of all, let me start with the fact that you could never get that view, let alone the fact that the Earth is the wrong shape. There is no way you could ever get such a view where the sun is smaller than the Earth. The sun is over 100 times the diameter of the Earth. You could fit 1 million Earths inside the sun. Not to mention the fact that it's so hot, you couldn't have it so close by. We'd all be fried.
One question nobody seemed to pose and no one ever again seemed to doubt was the shape of our world.
I think that question's been posed pretty much since the beginning of human thought. For starters, if that disk is flat, the sun is illuminating it everywhere on the disk. So even if it's all the way on the far side of the disk, you still see the sun. So the sun would never set. The other thing that's a problem with this is that how you get a lunar eclipse. The sun and moon are on opposite sides of the Earth. Oh,
NASA doesn't hide the true shape of the...
What about Bob? Thanks for $5. I don't know if that goes towards Hype Train. I don't think that Twitch picks that up. I appreciate the $5 donation, though.
The Earth. During their early fakes, they showed pictures of the spheroid Earth and are now stuck with it.
They had bad idea for their fakes early on by making it a globe, and now they're stuck with it.
Immense sums of money that are invested by governments and corporations in supposed space programs.
Gregory, thanks for 100 bits. Kicks off a Hype Train. The first train failed. Maybe we'll get to level 5 with this one.
Are used, to a large extent, to pay off the officials and many people who know about the true shape of the Earth, as well as so-called educators on TV.
Hey, wait, now that's getting personal. So all of that money didn't go to building rockets. It went to paying off people?
It has
it's also only 32 miles across.
44% to level 1.
It's located approximately
And it's also
3,000
3,000
miles above
miles
the
from
surface
us.
of the
Okay,
Earth.
is it hot? Do they have a temperature?
The sun's area of light is similar to the spotlight of a
it's like a
searchlight.
searchlight.
This means that only certain portions...
Antimemetic Ontokinetic, thanks for gifting a sub. 75% to
of
level
the
1.
Earth are illuminated at a time.
But as it moves around, I mean, it would look like a circle overhead, but as it moved over there, it would start to look like an oval. I mean, you can frankly take a plate and change how it looks.
NASA were developed for the sole purpose of lying to us. Their only purpose is to perpetuate the globe lie. Every single story that is told...
Logar says it's nice to see the Pokedex voice guy is still getting work. Daima Oni-chan says, I'm here for this one with 100 bits, and Cidosaurus with 100 says, have some bits. 91%.
...by NASA has the subcontext that we live on a globe. The way they're faking things is with top-of-the-line, absolutely cutting-edge studio techniques like...
I feel like the Trilby is a bold choice for your Flat Earth interview. Cidosaurus says, have some bits with 100 bits. Not a good choice, but a bold one.
In the film Gravity, so they're using trapeze, they're on high wires, in order to fake us for as long as humanly possible.
One of the highlights of my career, actually, was interviewing Major Tim Peake up in space on the International Space Station.
Right.
Now, he brought in his beautiful book. You see the curvature of the Earth. You very clearly see that it's a circle. So are you telling me that this interview with him, I'm talking to somebody that's just made that up or wasn't actually there? Or
Yeah, he's not. Can I just?
He's not in outer space.
Can I just?
Where is he then?
In a Hollywood studio type. Not necessarily Hollywood. Maybe studio, here. But... Maybe where we are now. All the astronauts, they're all military guys. If you look at them, they're all military. They're not scientists.
No, they're not. No, they're not. 230 individuals from 18 different countries have visited the space station. They were not all military. Are all 230 people liars?
Can we just end this debate by saying...
No way can we. I was very, very lucky, and I went on Concorde. Okay. So I was very lucky I went on Concorde. So that's 60,000 feet. You could clearly see the curvature of the Earth.
What's the shape of the
Concorde.
windows? Actually, science.
Oh, it was the shape of the window.
No, I didn't say that. I said what?
Do you think anything could possibly convince these people? Do you think they would try and take off their helmets to prove it's fake? I don't know if they'd take off their helmets, but I do not believe the vast majority of flat earthers would ever admit they were wrong, even if they were literally taken into space. It's become a fanatical cult-like belief for many of these people at this point. We're at the point where anyone who basically could be turned back to reality and convinced that they were wrong about the Earth being flat, they already have. And the ones that are left, because the fad of internet flat earth is kind of over at this point, and only those that remain are the real fanatics, I think there's no turning back for those people. People like Chris, yeah. I think they're in it for the long haul. Felicia Angel with 300 bits brings us over level 1 of the hype train, thank you, says, even if they were proved wrong, they'd not be wrong, somehow. Narnadia Owl says, the Trilby guy is Nathan Oakley. He does debates by muting people and yelling obscenities at them. Yeah, he's the guy that said, there's no downward bias.
Was the shape of the windows, is what I said.
Like an oval?
Scientists...
I'm the best hope to prove to flat Earth.
Oh, this guy died. This guy got killed because he tried to use his rocket, and he shot it up, and he died in his rocket.
And Mike spoke to CBS Sunday Morning.
Because I think the parachute on the rocket didn't go off or something. 11% to level 2.
In 2018, just a few months after the successful launch of his first steam-powered rocket, built from spare parts in his garage.
Easy, guys, easy.
He walked away and vowed to fly again.
I expect to see a flat disc up there. I don't have an agenda. If it's a round Earth or a ball, I'm going to come down and say, hey, guys, I'm bad. It's a ball.
64-year-old Mad Mike Hughes was known as a homemade astronaut on a self-financed mission to space. But as Mola Lingyi reports, he died living out his dream.
Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub, and Quebeca Lynn, thanks for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. Appreciate it, guys. Very much so.
Moments after launching, a homemade rocket crashed into the open desert in California Saturday. On board, Mike Hughes. It would be the final act of the self-styled daredevil known as Mad Mike. His mission was to fly to the edge of outer space to ultimately see whether the
66% to level 3, satanic.
Earth is flat.
Radiology says final bits before bed. Good night. Have a good night. And Lily Love Stuff says, honestly, making a steam-powered rocket is stupid AF, but it's low-key badass. Like, it's a cool engineering feat. The cooler engineering feat would have made me to make sure it's safe, though. 74% to level 3. Let's see if they have any other conspiracy stuff. Hypnosis fails. Hypnosis isn't really a conspiracy thing, but that does sound kind of funny. Crazy faith healing. Psychic twins fails. Let's do crazy faith healing. That kind of sounds like it's in line with conspiracies, right? Overthought with 50-bit says, all they have to do is strap some balloons onto lawn chairs and take a BB gun along.
This is a psychic surgeon, Stephen Toroff. He claims the likes of...
Psychic surgery, if you don't know, is a grifter will tell people that they can perform surgery on them and cure whatever ails them without actually cutting them open. They will psychically do surgery on them. So they'll put someone on a table and have them like lift their shirt or whatever area of their body is ailing them. And then they will have on their person, somewhere hidden, animal guts of some kind. Pig or chicken, or probably not chicken. Something that's a red meat. Something that's, you know, will look human enough. And they palm it. If you're familiar with sleight of hand, you'll know what palming is. And they'll pretend to pull it out of the person. So if you don't know what palming is, it's basically taking an object and holding it kind of in the palm of your hand in such a way that it's not clear or visible that you are doing so. So they'll pull out, and then they'll have it in their fingers, and they'll act like they just pulled it out of the person. It's a basic sleight of hand trick that grifters have used for a while to scam sick and people in pain into giving them money. Andy Kaufman went to see one of these people to try and help with his cancer before he died. Citosaurus with 150 bits says, have the rest of my bits on this here hype train. Having a bad day, but seeing that your streaming is making it better. Awkward fist bump. I return the fist bump. I'm sorry you're having a bad one. I hope tomorrow's better. Morok says, ah yes, psychic healers. I remember this episode of The Incredible Hulk. I don't remember how it ended, though. I'm gonna guess it ended with him hulking out and beating up the villain. And then him running away because the reporter was hot on his tail. And then that music played, the sad one, when he walked away down the road. Doon 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 doon. Archangel with 400 bits says, hello, yes, I would like to be the stream boss. Let's see, did you get it? You got it. Tucker White says, that just sounds like the most Andy Kaufman way to die. Yeah, it does. He was also doing, I think, normal medical treatment, but he was desperate. Unfortunately, a lot of these people prey on desperate, sick people, a lot of them terminally ill, or in areas of the world where they don't have access to modern medicine easily or affordably. 6% to level 4 on the hype train.
Of Jesus and the Virgin Mary are queuing up to be photographed with him. He's also a quack who implies he can cure cancer. Claiming to cure cancer is illegal. Toroff enjoys a posh motor and a big house. His desperate patients pay £25 for each 3-minute consultation, so his clinic pulls in up to £1,200 a day.
I'm here with Stephen Toroff. His skills defy human knowledge.
This is a spiritual...
No, I think people know how to palm pig guts. Ferris Hex with 100 bits says, I learned due to watching Kaufman doc with my mom that she didn't allow me to get into witchy shit because we were Christmas Catholics. It was because her mom died due to quacks claiming to cure cancer and she hated it all. I've heard much worse reasons for stopping kids from getting into witchy stuff.
Injection is going into your neck.
Toroff claims he performs surgical operations with his bare hands.
We didn't do Mark of the Beast yet, no.
So what are you doing now?
No, I can't explain it to you because my hands are moving. I'm not the doer. God is the doer. God is always the doer of action. There's a lump there. You see that? A lump there. You can feel it. So this has to come out.
So are you really inside there?
Yes.
Really? And what's that you've pulled out?
It's just very bad energy. The lump is being broken down.
What sort of lump?
It's bad energy. Is that your medical opinion, sir?
Lump is that?
I can't explain that to you, please. I know one can.
Who's next? My chance to...
You think you have a bingo? Let me see the link. Link your bingo card. Just take the URL at the top, copy paste it into the chat for me. 11% to level 4.
Raid the bin and find out what Toroff really pulled out of the patient.
This is the negative stuff they pull out, people. It's just got one. What's the biggest operation you've ever done?
So raising the dead.
Sorry?
Raising the dead.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You've done Raising the Dead?
Stephen, how famous are you?
How famous is God? My whole life is based on living the truth. I was given a talk on love in Spain, and as I was talking, the light was coming out of my mouth.
Why would the light come out of your
Rebecca Lynn,
mouth?
thanks for
Because
giving
when you
5
speak
more
the
tier 1
truth.
subs. Wow, very generous of you. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. End of the month push for Hype Train. Appreciate it. Very much so.
When you speak the...
Oh no, you refreshed the card? Oh, I'm sorry.
absolute truth.
I can't give it to you without a verification. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That sucks.
Of God, everything becomes light.
Right. In the other photographs, there's no light coming out
With
of your
all-
no
no,
light
no.
coming out of your mouth. Does this mean you're not speaking the
No,
truth here?
no, not at all. This is bringing down the light of God. When I'm doing this.
Right.
My name is Michael Shane, and I'm what you would call a trans-physical
Yeah, you might be able to get the URL from your history. Give that a try.
phenomena medium.
That's a good point.
Which means I'm able to bring through, using the energies of ectoplasm, physical objects from an adamant like gemstones to master teachers and spirits that want to come and speak to us.
Ow. That'll really hurt. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 100 bits. 18% level 5. This is a lazy scam, even by scam standards. Yeah, we get it. You put them in your mouth while you were backstage, and then you pretend to spit them out. I mean, you do spit them out, but you're pretending you're regurgitating them. I get it. They're clearly fake, too. Like, I bought, for D&D, I bought some props that are like amethyst, like plastic amethyst fake jewels, and they look exactly like that. Wow, he produces costume jewelry. That's like the worst X-Man power ever.
You get a heart for your love, and one for your own heart.
Ew, those were in his mouth.
You get a matching one.
Lily Love Stuff, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Really good day for gift subs. Thank you, I appreciate it. Level 5. Level 5. We did it. We got to level 5 of the hype train. It's later in the stream, but we got to level 5 finally, so I guess that means I'm going to don the rest of my tinfoil.
Oh, yes.
In general, what he can do is he opens his physical body. He's not limited to his physical body. So sometimes that means he can bring physical objects through from another dimension into the physical 3D dimension.
Wow. How stupid are... I don't like to label people like this, but like, come on. If you believe this, you're dumb. Like, this is bad even by scam standards. How do you look at that and go, ooh, wow? That's unfortunate. Overthought with 50 bits says, same energy.
I just need to get to a toilet. See you guys.
Ugh, I'm not gonna watch South Park. Oh yeah, and then he shits all the gold from the thing.
Beautiful.
He does apportation, which is bringing forth sacred objects from the inner planes in Shambhala through his
All right, now let someone inspect his mouth and under his tongue and then try and have him do it.
physical body. They're imbued with love, light, healing, and knowledge.
Wow.
You can feel his childlike presence.
There's different forms of mediums. Mentally mediums, trance mediums, intuitive mediums, physical mediums, trans-physical phenomena mediums, which is basically what I do. And that's looked upon as the top of the ladder medium.
I feel like Michael Shane,
Humility is something I've been looking for in a teacher for a really long time. On a personal level, I feel like I've felt very accepted and comfortable around someone like him because it's offered a sense of relief almost.
Oh, he absolutely tried to take advantage of her.
They compare him with the greatest. By following him, you follow yourself. By opening yourself to his look, you yourself open to the flow of energy that regenerates and empowers. In almost all of the world's languages, people speak about and bear witness to the one who is silent and about the power of his silence. The power of the look of this man erased and still erases differences, at the same time leaving each person to be who he or she is and to
Morak says Shambhala. Isn't that where Father and Hohenheim are from? He's from Shambhala, then he might be an immortal homunculus who is planning on eating God. I don't know what any of that is.
believe in what he or she believes in. In the crowd that comes to see Brazzo and his look, everybody is together. Nobody asks who is the one beside him, whether he is of this or that faith, which nationality, rich or poor. In Austria, where thousands, thirsty for his look, flow into the hotel pyramid every time he comes. In Germany, where serious and hard-working Germans become children again in Brazzo's presence. It is not uncommon to lose one's consciousness in his presence. People open up and cry like children.
Oh, there's the poop.
Trembling hands are praying for themselves and their close ones. It is not strange that he was recently a guest in the United Nations, trying what seemed to be the impossible, but in essence was so simple. To really unite those that are united under the name.
Can we not invite people like this to the goddamn UN? Cover it.
Zarathustra is known internationally. He travels all over
You moved the sand everywhere but the poop, Cass.
the world. Zarathustra is a very unique individual. After many, many years of study, he can be a portal into fifth dimension.
He probably just stood outside the UN and for a wide shot, then the rest of this is in a Ramada Inn or something. This shot definitely is. I really hope you're right on the rest. Yeah, 5D. 5D on the bingo card. Oh, God. I noticed he didn't kiss this woman's neck. He is making sound effects with his mouth. Yep, those are tuning forks. Did I hear Love Is One is getting a documentary? Good, that's some interesting stuff. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. We did not have correlation isn't causation.
Put these crystals in your hands. So I like to activate the crystals.
These woo-woo people have ruined minerals for everyone else. Jubinator, thanks for 12 months, says these people are trippin'. Happy anniversary. Here's the thing. Rocks and crystals are rad. They're super cool. But you can't buy them without people thinking you're a woo-woo crazy person. Like, oh, this crystal is good for your aura. No, it's not. It's good for looking at, because it's neato. Stop it. Maps and Mimic says, the tuning fork man has to drive the local dogs wild. You think?
So I'm going to draw some Reiki symbols also into your field.
Combo.
A friend of mine went to a course on how to do Reiki healing, So she knows how to do it, air quote, because her mom is into all this like woo-woo crazy stuff. So she knows how to do it, and she doesn't believe in any of it, and it's really funny to me that she knows how to do the bullshit.
And you had this cane because why?
Both knee.
Bend down.
I needed
How's
a
that?
blessing.
How's that?
Very good.
Good?
Yes.
Bam! Bam!
Ooh, ow. Oh, no!
We give thanks to the Lord for these miracles.
Oh.
Chi, it flows throughout the body.
Let's watch some people who think they can do like psychic martial arts get their clocks cleaned. What's the cleanse? What is it? Ugh, we've watched this. Don't send me the same clip like 5 times. If we've seen something, I don't want to watch it again. You've sent that like 3 times.
Body.
I know, I miss Peter too.
Without it, you don't function. And it's a radio wave.
Science can't find chi. It doesn't exist as far as science can tell.
Dillman claims to have adapted this technique to where he can knock a person out without having to touch them.
Use chi energy out of this hand, and we're going to affect up on the head at the third eye. So snap, couple. Back, back, back. There we go.
All of these karate techniques are made possible by manipulating chi.
I've flatlined several people.
They come to see Dillman's remarkable ability to move walls of people from 10 feet away.
Yeah, it's a generate card link. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Way when they can't even see him by channeling his chi at them and interrupting their auras.
Yeah, I've heard about the MMA guy who does the guru thing. Yeah.
I locked with their aura, and I moved the line. I shouldn't tell you this, but I play with people in Starbucks, and I just stood there and I moved the line. And they all moved, and they all looked back at me at the same time.
Yes, everyone send all the vibes to Mr. Blast. He does have a medical procedure tomorrow. We all love you, Mr. Blast. It will all go well.
They went like this, and I looked back too like it was happening to me. I looked because I didn't want them to know I did this, right?
But what really draws the audience's attention is Dillman's no-touch knockout, a karate move that could theoretically revolutionize combat as we know it, except that it can take years to learn. Essentially, he claims to be able to knock anyone out without touching any part of their body by just throwing a giant chi whammy at them.
Sometimes it drains me. I can get that way within a second or two if I throw the chi out too fast.
You did miss the Will Smith thing, sorry.
Back. I know I have chi energy. You can see it with the half moons. My chi is up now because of the filming. I have half moons in my fingertips now. That means the chi is just coming out.
But is the mysterious energy called chi really what's giving Dillman and his followers such extraordinary powers? Or is it, as skeptics suggest, simply a form of hypnotic suggestion? It's time for a showdown. In one corner, weighing in at no more than 125 pounds, is chemist Luigi Garnaschelli. He thinks he can stand up.
Can this be someone demonstrates a poor understanding of philosophy, Eastern religion? Yeah, he's using chi, so I'd say yes.
To a knockout punch of chi, because it doesn't exist. In the other corner, it's 8th degree black belt Leon J., one of George Dillman's top associates and fellow practitioner of the no-touch knockout. This ought to be interesting.
In fact, when we did the test on Luigi, he was not ready to believe these things.
Lily Love Stuff says, I always have chi flowing because my Aluna are always showing. I'm gonna go knock people over. Be right back.
Or maybe it was just staying there, seeing what would happen.
How bad was the Will Smith thing? It was basically just saying he's like in the Illuminati or whatever.
It didn't work.
Okay.
Dillman thinks he knows what went wrong and has come up with a very interesting explanation.
The skeptic was a totally non-believer. Plus, I don't know if I should say that on film, but if the guy had his tongue in the wrong position of the mouth, that can also nullify it.
Wow, that's a shitty martial art you have there if someone's tongue position affects your ability to knock them down.
Yeah, you can nullify it. You can nullify a lot of things done to you. In fact, you can nullify them if you raise those two big toes. Plus, if I say I'm going to knock you out, and you raise one toe and push one toe down, can't knock you out. And then if I go to try again, you reverse it. If you keep doing this, I won't knock you out.
But
Dr. Gamble says, fun fact, I too was able to use chi to move things with unforeseen force. I just needed a headband and a mind flex toy to do it. I remember those. Narnadia Owl says, revolutionary combat technique, everyone.
Cameron claims to have an even higher power, being able to knock out an attacker without
Hello, Dylan Chattington. How you doing?
touching them, using energy to interfere with their nervous system.
They'll get all kinds of neurological types of effects. Their body organs can shut off temporarily. They will feel like they've been hit by an electric bolt.
This so-called power led him to be labeled the human stun gun. But you ask, does it work, Danielle?
Dan Kerm, thanks for 8 months, says 1 more month until baby. And Morak says, I know he's usually an anime YouTuber, but the channel, Super Eye Patch Wolf has an entire documentary on fake martial artists. It's fun shit. Maybe I'll listen to that when I have to take a shower later. After this, I'm exercising, and then after I shower, maybe I'll listen to it, or during the shower.
Headed out to his Palos Heights studio to check out his superhero-like strengths. So we asked Tom to try it on someone other than his students, like us.
God, you're scared. Relax. I'm not going to hurt you.
He refused to try the touch.
Lily Love Stuff says, I was able to use chi to knock out people, and by chi, I mean my plush of chi from Chobits.
knockout on me, saying he thought I may get hurt.
If you touch this...
Instead, he used a light tap technique to affect my nervous system. Wait, you just hit me in the head. We were less than stunned by this stun guns demonstration, so we had Tom try it again on jiu-jitsu students at the Extreme Fitplex downtown.
I love when they have, like, actual martial artists fight these guys. It's great.
Feel any lightheadedness at all?
Not really.
And once again...
No, I don't even feel it. Go moving on you.
I got hit in the head a lot.
The results were less than stunning.
He's not going to go.
Tom says only about 40% of people are susceptible to touchless knockouts, and natural athletes are the toughest.
They learn to translate this energy so they don't get affected by it as much.
But he stands by his death touch.
I have absolute faith in what I teach.
真下飛んでます。早速。これはこんだけさ生徒がいるんだ。そう、そこがすごいんだ。ですよ。これでね、今出ましたね。必殺の糸巻き。糸巻き攻撃。
Come on。
糸巻き。出ましたね。ああ、逆回転もあるんだなこれ。
$5,000 says he can beat any MMA fighter. Good luck. Does he know it's not true, or has he been, like, yes-manned by his students for so long that he genuinely believes he has this ability? I do wonder. It's not even close. That was solid contact, holy hell. Ooh! I'd feel bad if he didn't agree to the fight.
As soon as you...
This is one of the greatest clips in the history of televised media, as far as I'm concerned. This is fantastic.
See me move. Everything you got in there, you push it out. What can we do?
So this guy is another alleged scam artist that tells people they can, like, repel people with force fields. So he, like, runs at them and has them, like, do a force field, and then he falls down. Obviously intentionally. And one of them he accidentally runs into, and she gets hurt. And he, not wanting to look like he just fucked up and hurt a lady, pretends to have a seizure. It's so funny. Morok says, ah yes, Chi from Chobits, the robot girl with the on switch in the... What? What?
Do it? We can do it.
I do not listen to the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe podcast. I've never heard of it.
Let's go. Sure. Can you walk me through it?
In fairness, he pretends to have one there too. In fairness, air quotes.
you want to do this? It's like pushing forward. With a shout. You ready? Yes, come here. You don't have to touch. Can you come, Magnus and Rebecca? So, if you stand here, and Magnus and Rebecca, you prepare her. And I don't know when I'm going to come, so you have to prepare.
Lily Love Stuff says, to be fair, Showbits was written by 4 women, and that's like not even close to the weirdest thing that they've done. Okay.
Prepare her quick.
Ind med energien. Lidt ud. Anders ind. Anders ind. Lidt ud. Anders ind. Få igen energien. Ned. Yes. Knip. Hold. Knip.
Ooh! That is such a solid hit. Let's look at that again. Moments before disaster. Boom, 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 boom. Right there. That looks like it hurt. Oh, you can hear it. And she's clearly hurt. He looks, makes an ocular pat down, realizes he has fucked up, immediately falls down so he can pretend to be a victim too. The timing is just so perfect. You can see his brain, like, processing what just happened. Looks. Oh, fuck. I hit this woman. I fucked up. Oh, no. She's hurt. Uh-oh. Time to pretend to fall down. Activate fake seizure. Nonandia says, ah, yes, the soccer player defense. She like grabs her ass. That looks like it hurt. Quick, play possum. It's like, oh yeah, we're both real hurt, aren't we? We're both equally hurt here. We're both victims.
Where were you guys? Where the fuck were you guys?
It's not his fault. It can't be his fault.
Ind med energien. Lidt ud. Anders ind. Anders ind. Lidt ud. Anders ind. Få igen energien. Ned. Yes. Knip. Hold. Knip. Hold.
He knows it's not real, so why did he choose to hit her? That makes it so much funnier to me. I don't know. I don't understand his motives. Can we watch it at 0.25 speed? Okay, one more time at slow speed, but that's it. Chest in the face. Daddy Sume says he was 100% thought she was further back. He couldn't see her through the big dude and thought he had more time to go to the side. Probably. I came in like a wrecking ball. You thought the running dude had his eyes closed and was waiting for her to yell? Maybe. Yeah, she was supposed to spiritually block him. Oh, here comes the seizure in slow motion. That's a lot funnier in slow motion for some reason.
Where were you guys? Where the fuck were you guys?
Yeah, you should definitely move her head and spine immediately. That's good first aid advice. Oh, yep, just moving her spine again. This is all good. Oh, look, there's a kid.
Okay, you ready to join us in the circle?
Are you ready to join us in the circle? Hello.
And it works. It's just a mental visualization that you know without a sand grain of doubt that it works, and then it does. But you can't work with this energy with doubt. So she'll be fine, and we'll really look after her. Thank you very much.
Oh, what an ass. Alright, that's another Tinfoil Tuesday for the books. Not bad. Not bad. Who's online to raid? Yeah, no one won bingo. I know, it's her fault for doubting, clearly.
Yesterday, in my role as a presiding judge in Bridgeport.
Alright, I will be back tomorrow, everyone. We might do a Public Domania, because we haven't done one in a really long time, so I think that sounds fun. Anyone? Public Domania? Either way, that's probably what I'm doing. So I'll see you guys then. We'll watch some fun public domain stuff or old, you know, TV, game show, educational films, whatever. I'll see you guys later, and have a good night.